The last kind of writing that we need to talk about is academic writing. It's last because it comes first to mind. That's probably because most of us who have an investment in writing, who want to work with students on writing, are also people who write papers, who go to conferences, and who are interested in academic writing in general, which makes us the kind of people who tend to prescribe that writing for the classroom, whether it is necessary or not. So, once again, before we even get into what is academic writing and how and whether it is useful for students of design and built environment disciplines, the question we need to ask ourselves is how many of our students at an undergraduate level will need to engage in academic publication. How many of them will produce the kind of work that needs to be presented in a conference? How many of them will actually want to write for a peer reviewed journal? If we know that this is not a priority, then perhaps the number of such assignments will have to be lower compared to the assignments which prescribe professional writing of one kind or the other. That's something that we know they will need. However, it is true that students at the undergraduate level, but particularly at the postgraduate level, might actually be interested in pursuing higher degrees. They might be interested in writing for peer reviewed journals. They might need to know how to do all of that. If that's the kind of writing we are prescribing, then we're talking about academic text. Academic text comes with problems of its own. It requires a lot of reading, so we'll have to talk about reading separately. It requires a lot of time. How many of us have actually managed to write an academic paper, a good one that will be published somewhere and not rejected, in less than at least a couple of months? Yes, we've all had those ambitions and we've all been at points where we needed to write it overnight, but let's be honest about it. How well did those papers turn out? So our students are likely to give us the same thing unless we know what academic text requires, the process, the amount of time, and we make allowances for it in our coursework. If we know that our course or our studio does not have the time for that, then it is unrealistic to be asking for it. So, what a tutor requires before prescribing academic writing is a clear understanding of the conventions of the genre, what the student will ultimately have to produce.